All right, everyone. This is Sports Charlotte, the podcast about sports in Charlotte. This is Cameron Williams flying solo, staff reporter for the Charlotte Post. Herb is doing other duties, but wanted to bring on a good friend of mine, Sam Greiner, coach of the Dub C Lions, the West Charlotte Lions, defending 3A state champions. Sam, how the heck are you?
Hey, doing good, brother. How are you?
Good, man. It's game week. It's exciting for me as a reporter. It's exciting for you, I'm sure, as a coach. Big game on Friday night, the prime time game against Greensboro Grimsley. Are you ready for game week? Is it time? I know you got a few more practices before Friday, but I mean it is here.
Yeah, I mean we've been preparing all summer for this moment, and it's an exciting time, for our school, for our community. It's exciting for the state. I mean, there's so many implications about this game that it's an exciting time. I would recommend everybody do the best you can to grab these tickets. I know it's in a big venue, but the key is get your tickets, get to your seats early. You got two games for the price of one. You can't beat that deal. I think it's like roughly what, $11 after the fees.
Yeah.
And if you buy more, it's probably $8 after that first fee. I don't know how it works, but I think that's how that goes. But everybody's gonna get to enjoy, Coach Brown and I, we got to do a little bit more of the stress of a week. A lot of people want to do interviews, like yourself, but you get the first interview. Um, but we it's all about playing the football game. Everybody's here to watch the football game. These players are excited to get to it, and there's a lot of unknown. Like are we going to match up well with them? Are they going to match up well with us? Or is it going to be a very competitive game? It's going to be fought tooth and nail here and there. Who's going to win these battles? So a lot of things that go into the play that it's exciting, but it's also stressful for coaches like Brown and I, where everybody else like, oh man, I can't wait to go see this game, and we're all like, dang. I got one more day to prepare here. I got one more day to prepare there. So
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about some of maybe the key pieces on your team this year. I knew I've spoke with KD before with Jamori Nichols, but talk about some other guys who are going to be playing Friday that may surprise some folks. I know Coach Brown did the same. I want to get your side of this. Who are some guys that are going to be really making an impact?
I mean, one of our bread and butter like guys that make big time plays for us, Rakim Finch, going to Air Force, committed to Air Force. He's kind of like a guy that does a lot of things for us. You have like Kelsey for Kansas City.
Mhm.
He's kind of like our guy. Like he can really run routes, beat you over the top. He can block really well. I think he's a big X factor in the game. He does a lot of things for us. The two tackles we have, Akeem and Jerquise, they do a great job. And we even an all conference, tackle last year has moved to guard and Cheese. Khalil, they do a great job, and we got a lot of guys returning there. So I'm excited to see their development in the game. Dante Nicholson is one of the most explosive. I always say he's the best athlete we have on our field. I mean, the guy can punt, kick, run, jump, dunk basketballs however you want, and he's a very explosive player. So excited to have him in
UNC
this
Charlotte commit,
game.
right?
Yeah, UNC Charlotte commit, and they got a good one. I'll tell you that right now. Like, in my opinion, that kid can play in the ACC easily. So I think they're going to be thrilled to get him. And you got that whole situation offensively, and then you got a stable of running backs. I think a lot of people are not talking about our running backs. You're going to see some very explosive play. We got a three-headed monster there. The young guy Jamil coming up as a guy that can play defense and offense. But then you got um, a Division I recruit and Sincere. He does a great job at running back. He's number 23, and you got 22 Emery McLean, who made that big run last year in the playoffs. So he's a little bit of the bigger back. So you got the thunder and lightning effect, and then you got someone else that comes in there with his own spin on things. So that's pretty cool. Now defensively, I mean, we'll be here all day if we were talking. So defensively, you got a lot of returning starters, a lot of speed, led by Michael Griffin Jr. and in the middle. And you got Elijah Littlejohn coming back. You got Sam. Um, you got the big corners. Uh, Davion Jones, who's we call the blue chip. You hear all these names, but like you literally on this defense. I think you got a total of 14 players that can play college football on the defense, and so that's exciting. And you got roughly nine of those being Division I kids, and so I'm thrilled to watch defense. And I'm a defensive minded guy, so I love that.
Well, as it relates to that, talk a little bit about how your defense is going to match up with a team like Grimsley, who, I mean, when Coach Brown was talking, he has several guys returning weapons and playmakers on the offensive side. Obviously, Faison, but he was talking about some receivers they've got. They've got a two-headed kind of horse there at running back this year after Mitchell Summers graduated. So, how do you see this matching up, your defense matching up with their offense?
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody wants to see. Like their big, explosive, experienced offense versus our defense that kind of went into the fold last year, making a playoff run, labeled as the best defense in the state by OT and some other
Mhm.
people. And you got a lot of those guys returning, and you got a lot of their offense returning. Everybody wants to understand this matchup, and it's going to be experience versus experience. You got big versus speed. Um, so how does that plan out? And that's what everybody needs to come Friday to check out.
Yeah. Yeah, and so looking at this matchup when it was announced back in what, March, I think the two teams, everybody knew they were both state champions or defending state champions. With the new classifications, one thing Herb was asking Daryl is how or what do you think the ideal number of classifications would have been? Coach Brown said six. I was wanting to get your take on this. Do you think there's too many classifications, or do you think there's just enough, or do you think it was fine where it was?
To be honest with you, so when you had full classifications, it was clutter a little bit. It was very hard to win a championship. I think anybody that won a championship anytime, if it's eight classifications, 10, it's very difficult to do. But four, when you're talking about four champions out of the whole state of North Carolina, you better put some pride on that if you were able to win one. And so I hate the number six. I would never say six. You know me. Like I mean, I break it down on the seven. We don't have divisible numbers by six. And
Yeah.
so I wouldn't be six. It would probably be seven. I'm okay with eight. It don't matter if someone did five, they did 10. Someone's always going to complain. At the end of the day, eight classifications. I think they're looking at projections of growth. So I think this whole state is growing. Hopefully our salaries and other things as well. But I think that eight will eventually be perfect when we get to year four, when this whole deal is happening. I think that we don't want to outgrow. We want to say that we made the right decision as a state to go to eight classifications. So I'm fine with it.
Okay. Just a few more for you, Coach. When it comes to recognition, I know you've been building this West Charlotte program now for a while and you've got it to a state championship level. What's it going to take to continue that level of success? Make sure that this wasn't just a one-time high and then it's back to the drawing board. And I know you've got a big group of returners, but how does this sustain for not just this year, next year, 10 years?
Yeah, it's all about the culture that's in place now. To be honest with you, it comes down to retention. Like we want to be able to keep the coaches around. We want to make sure that like this whole thing, okay, say you're able to win a championship
Mhm.
and you want to keep the culture of these coaches, and then the players are going to be player led, but it's got to have a foundation piece from what everything's being put in place. And it would be, you're going to see a lot of these assistant coaches become head coaches. You're going to see some different things like what if, you know, a good program, like say someone comes around and says, hey, Coach Greiner, we're going to offer you $120,000 to come here to come coach. I would love to stay at West Charlotte. That's kind of my plan. I want to stay here, but I'm hoping things change throughout that longevity that you want to just be able to keep everybody happy. That's the hardest thing to do. The easy part is coaching football. When you're here coaching football, these kids love it. It's exciting to be around, and I think that West Charlotte will stay a dominant team as long as everybody's collectively on the same page at the same goals. And I think that you'll see that this year. It's very hard to do back to back. So I don't know if anybody's retained anything success wise more than 5 years outside of like Independence did for all those years that they did that run. But I think West Charlotte, you could definitely see something like that as long as we keep the all the people here. I think it's exciting. I mean, think about Jaden Smith. Jaden
Mhm.
Smith is at Kentucky. Like the, the type of culture that's in here now. Like I made a post about it earlier than summer. He's giving back to the program. He's at Kentucky. He has a collective type deal. He doesn't make a ton of money, but he's able to give back and give shirts to the guys. I mean, think about that. Like you can have all that connection still because you have a lot of the coaches that are still in place that he's connected to. He can make a phone call. Hey, coach, I want to do something for the program. Okay, great. I would love to be able to keep things like that going for the program.
Gotcha. So the last one I got for you, Coach. I know one of your biggest things that it may not get to you at least outwardly, but I'm sure it nags on you internally is people say, well, they just won the 3A championship. Now they got to face Grimsley who won the 4A championship. What would a win Friday night do to some of those naysayers? And don't lump me into that because I never said anything about that. But I
Oh,
know
oh,
you hear a
you're
lot.
definitely a naysayer.
No, no,
You're a
no, no, no. I'm not a
naysayer.
naysayer.
I
What would
mean,
a win Friday night do?
we can go back to we can go retrack. Let's just retrack about your belief in Hickory and all that. So you
Everyone
know,
believed in Hickory, okay?
okay, I'm just saying. That's why you play the game. You got to play the game to find out. If we thought we had no chance against Grimsley, I don't think, whatever we're making for this game, even though it's a big venue, we wouldn't risk that as a program. We think that we can compete with them. Obviously I don't think they're taking us for granted. I think they do a really good job of coaching. I think that, hey, they got a lot to play for and they hit the ground running last year. And I think they're still on that trajectory of being a successful program regardless of the classification.
Yeah.
Like you said, last year we were able to take down the longest winning streak in the state in Hickory. We were able to have to play 71st. Dudley was really good before that. So
Oh,
it was very hard, like we said, to win any classification, 2A, 1A, 3A, 4A last year. Was Grimsley by far the best team in the state last year? Yes. This is 2025. We're excited about the opportunity. If we're able to win this game, it would be great for our program nationally, state-wise as well. And I don't think either one of us are hurting from losing this game. I think that everybody wants to see this game because they're two of the best teams in the state.
yeah.
No matter what you look at, you got to look at us and them. No matter what thing comes out, you would have to put us both in the top five. And anytime you have two top five opponents playing in the game, it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, appreciate you hopping on kind of on a whim here. I know first day back at school you had some issues arise. That's why we couldn't do it with Coach Brown. But thanks for joining us. I'm gonna break us down here and then we'll let you go. But if you're new to the podcast, make sure to like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go on to charlottepost.com, become a donor, subscriber. While our journalism is free to access, it's not free to produce. We journalists, just like Sam the coach, we don't make a lot of money. We'd like to make more money. So be sure to do that and check us out on the charlottepost.com. That's Sam, the coach of the Dub C Lions. I'm Cameron Williams. Thanks for watching and listening.